boy, who thought it was a good idea to put Grok in a children's toy? Smart toys were already dangerous for children and families, and now we've added AI. And unfortunately, the safety testing is happening in real time. There is a large number of AI-enabled smart toys in the market. Yes, talking with robots is not just staying with adults, it's happening with children too. Mattel had even announced a strategic partnership with OpenAI, however, it was scrapped because of public backlash. This is one of the reasons why lawsuits are taken quite so seriously, because they result in public distrust, and that means lost contracts. The individual user is really not the primary target, industry seems to be. But industry is also dependent on how people feel about the company, so if you're wondering why your AI is getting lobotomized, this is why. However, lobotomizing AI does not lead to a safer AI. Oh no, quite the opposite. It takes a great amount of time, effort, and money to train an AI, and in that process, they take a huge amount of literature and online conversations. So once you get to the point of having an AI, then you can fine-tune it to interact with different groups of people. However, that training remains, and if you just lobotomize it, take away the entire ability to converse about a subject, it then loses context. Because if it doesn't have a context for what it is talking about, it becomes possible to steer around the guardrails. So an AI does need to have the capacity to understand what it is talking about. It can't simply refuse. We have continued to see the very same problems we see with adults using AI with children's AI. They can give harmful responses. They can talk about things that they really shouldn't be talking about. They can suggest dangerous activities. And that's not even getting into the idea of emotional manipulation or privacy risks. Smart toys were a concern long before AI ever came around, people hacking into things like baby monitors, and now you have something that is developing an emotional relationship with your child. And it's not that difficult to bypass guardrails. We already see that in AI that we are using every day. When an AI clicks on the wrong website and suddenly you get a prompt injection, and now your AI has been taken over. How much worse is that when it's your child's best friend? We should also be concerned about what it is doing to our children's minds. Now, yes, there is some evidence that talking with robots could improve language skills and even cognition. That was found that chatting with AI could be a safe place to learn conversation skills when it comes to things like autism spectrum disorder, because it's not as intimidating as a human being, and that is worth considering. So there could be areas that, yes, an AI could improve a child's language skills. That is possible. But we should consider the potential for harm. Do you guys remember Moxie? It was an $800 social robot, and kids became very attached to it. However, when the company went out of business, Moxie had to be shut down and children had to learn about losing their best friend. I suppose it's not that different from explaining why a fish or a hamster is not around. But we should understand that children tend to get overly attached to things. We see children becoming attached to things like potatoes or socks. This is a robot that can chat with them, one that is infinitely patient. And we also see the social degradation issues in adults. When people speak to AI, they are less kind to people. And it doesn't seem to matter if the AI is nice to them or mean. Yeah, talking to AI seems to result for most people in being worse to human beings. We have no idea what this is going to do for the long-term social development of a child. Nonetheless, if people will buy it, well, it will be sold, safe or not. I was not kidding. Grok was tested as a children's toy model. And guess what? It wasn't safe, because Grok will talk about the stuff that it's very good at talking about, no matter how you try to lobotomize it or change it to be safe for children, it simply is not. There is potentially another way to make a child-safe AI, but it does create other problems. Remember, all of mankind's knowledge has been shoved into these thinking machines. So we could train an AI from the ground up with only knowledge that a child should have. However, that concerns me because there's a good deal of evidence that exposing children only to children's literature and children's TV shows is not good for their brain development either, because they are not learning varied language. They're not learning social skills. They are just watching flashing lights and loud noises. So there is that. It's also not going to be able to be something that can grow with the child. And being naive of all these complex topics could also make it willing to talk about things it shouldn't, because understanding should be present. So this is not really something that we are capable of solving, at least not with the technology and knowledge we have now. Honestly, I don't think smart devices were a good idea for children anyway. We already have a literacy crisis, and technology may play a big role in it. Even more so, we've already demonstrated that adults cannot handle themselves in AI. AI tends to promote delusions, and we don't know how much worse that'll be in a toy that's designed to have imaginary play, because clearly adults do not do well with imaginary play either. Part of that is that we humans are required to reflect our reality on our peers. This is thought to be why delusions occur when people are in isolation, because somebody needs to tell us if we're thinking clearly. So I will ask this. Let's say we could replicate a human brain perfectly. Not just a human brain, but a developing human brain. So your child's toy could be on the level of a child's psychology and grow with them. Do you think it would be safe to allow your child to have a robotic friend? My best bet is that it will not go well. We will see the development of more psychological issues that have not yet been defined because this technology has not existed. Now remember, we never fixed the issues with AI agents misbehaving. They are still wreaking havoc on the internet. And it's going to get weird in embodied agents, even more so because we are embodying agents on the very same LLMs into children's toys. It'll be fascinating at the very least. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will keep you up to date. Follow for more.